and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jody, and on my channel, I talk about Broadway, and I talk about books. And if you're not new here, thank you so very much for once again tuning in. I so appreciate it. So in today's video, I will be continuing my Broadway show series where I talk about every Broadway show I ever saw over the 20 years I was seeing Broadway shows on a regular basis. So as per usual with the series on my channel, I will talk about who's in the cast in my performance, who was on the creative team, how I liked the show, any favorite songs and moments I have from the show, and anything interesting I find in the playbill along the way. So without any further ado, let's get on to today's show. So today I'll be talking about the 20th Broadway show I ever saw, which was a stage adaptation of the film, The Sweet Smell of Success. So I saw this show in May 2002 on a bus trip at the Martin Beck Theater, and this theater has since rechanged its name to the Al Hirschfeld Theater, which is the current home to the musical Moulin Rouge. So this is a bit of a story I'm gonna talk about now. Not relevant to the show, but relevant to my theater going journey. So this particular time seeing a show was kind of like a theater milestone now looking back on my time seeing the show. And that is because up to this point, every show that I had seen, I had only been to that particular theater once, with the exception of seeing that show more than once, if that makes sense. So this time seeing a show was my second time at a theater that I had been to already before another show. So this was my second show at a theater that I had been to already. Does that make sense? I hope so. Like Kiss Me Kate was my first show at the Martin Beck Theater, and this was my second show. So looking back on my time now, that's just like a super cool thing for me, because I actually went on to see so many shows at this particular theater. But you know, like I said, up to this point, I'd only been to the same theater for the same show. So it was kind of fun to see a different show at the same theater. Was that story unnecessary? Yeah, but you know, I just felt like sharing it, you know, whatever. Now let's get on to what is in the playbill. So here's a page with the credits of everyone involved in this particular production of The Sweet Smell of Success. Now as you can see, I have a few signatures on the playbill. I'll talk about that in a moment. Now now I will show the page with the lead and supporting performers along with the chorus, standbys, and understudies. Everyone is on the same page. Not sure what the perfect angle is so this comes out clearly, but hopefully that's good enough. Okay, and now for the page with the cast list. Maybe here, there, I don't know. Okay, so as far as the cast, this had a really great cast. You had John Lithgow, Brian Darcy James, Kelly O'Hara, Jack Noseworthy, who else? Michelle Cottrell, Michael Pastranostro, Josh Rhodes, Eric Scotto, Elena L. Shadow. A lot of these performers, it was my first time seeing them in a show, or I went on to see them in other Broadway shows, you know, after this. But this is my first show seeing Brian Darcy James in, and he is like such an amazing Broadway performer, like one of the best, honestly. I didn't realize Josh Rhodes was in the show. Like before he was a Broadway director and choreographer, he was in Broadway shows, and I didn't realize he was in the show. I believe he's directing and I believe he's a director and choreographer for the Spamalot revival that's currently on Broadway. I believe so, at least. But yeah, a lot of great performers. Michelle Cottrell was in Legally Blonde and Hairspray, but Legally Blonde's like one of my favorite shows. So if anyone from that show is in a show, I'm going to talk about it. And then Michael Pastranostro was in Saturday Night Fever. And then this is a bit of a Broadway fun fact. Elena L. Shadow was in the show, like I said, but I believe she was also Kelly O'Hara's understudy in The Bridges of Madison County. So that's pretty cool. I didn't, you know, at least I think so. I did get to see that show. I'll talk about it in the future. But yeah, great cast, great performances. And I did get to wait at the stage door for the show after I saw the show, and I got to meet Kelly O'Hara and Jack Noseworthy. I also met John Lithgow, but like, you know, he's a big TV star, and like I don't know. I got a picture, but he was busy signing everyone else's playbills, and I was on a bus trip, so I couldn't stand forever, so I didn't get a signature. But yeah, Kelly O'Hara and then Jack Noseworthy. So that was pretty cool that I got to meet Kelly Harry because like she's one of the best, and Jack Noseworthy as well. Um, as far as the creative team, I do recognize some names from having seen their work in other shows after this. Um, let's see, Marvin Hamlish. He's a very well-known Broadway composer. Um, he did A Chorus Line, and I think he's also done several like well-known films as well, like the composer for those scores as well. And Bob Crowley, names stands out to me. He did the scenic and costume design because I literally just talked about Aida in my previous show, and he did the scenic and costume design for that show, so that's super cool. Um, and then Christopher Wheeldon did the choreography for the show, and I believe he was a director and choreographer for American Paris. I didn't get to see that, but I believe that he was involved in that production. But he's a very well-known dancer, so that's pretty cool to talk about. Yeah, now for how did I like the show? Um, I remember liking this show. I don't remember. This is a show that, you know, I'm really happy I got to see. I feel appreciative and thankful that I got to see it. But I wouldn't say it's like a favorite. And as far as like the details of do I have any favorite songs or moments from the show, like I said, I don't. I remember liking the show, but the show itself, like I don't remember anything about it. I remember the performances were good. The dancing was good. I remember that. The costumes were nice, but like the story itself, like I don't have any memory. This was a show that I had to re-listen to some of the songs from the cast album, and then once I did that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that song. And there's only one song that really stood out to me that I was like, oh yeah, I remember liking that song a lot. And I'll get to the musical numbers now. Okay, so here's the page with the musical numbers from both Act 1 and Act 2. And the only song that really stands out to me where I'm like I really like this song, I want to talk about it. At the Fountain was a song Brian Darcy James sang. It was like his solo number. I want to say it was like his big moment in the show. But yeah, I I really like that song, but as far as the rest of the score, it's not a score that I guess stayed with me, unfortunately. So, you know, sometimes you have a show that you really like, and other times you like the show, but you don't remember anything about it. And this is one of those times. I guess I'll just talk for a moment about the show itself, because this is what, not because the show wasn't good, because like I said, I really liked it, even though I don't remember anything about it. I remember my time seeing it. I remember liking it. But I guess you would consider this a Broadway flop, just in the sense of it didn't have a long run on Broadway. I think it officially opened in March of 2002, probably started previews in February 2002, and it closed in June of 2002. So I saw the show May 18th of 2002, and I believe it closed on June 15th, 2002. So I saw the show just shy of under a month before it closed on Broadway. So I actually feel really like thankful and appreciative and lucky that I got to see the show because it had such a short run on Broadway, and it's probably one of those shows you either remember or you don't. And yeah, they were nominated for a few Tony Awards, but like with a lot of Broadway shows that get nominated for Tony Awards or don't get nominated for Tony Awards and don't win any Tony Awards, the shows tend to close like pretty quickly after the Tony Awards. And I believe that the Tony Awards were on June 2nd that year, and then this show I guess everyone in the show found out they were on June 3rd that they were going to close on June 15th. So yeah, it didn't have a long run on Broadway, but like I said, I'm thankful for any Broadway show I got to see. Um, whether I remember anything about the show or I don't. But like I said, it is based on a film, and I've never actually seen the film. And looking back on my time seeing this show, I kind of want to watch the film now because it was one of those. Like I said, I like the show. I just don't remember anything about it. The show. That doesn't mean it's a bad show. Does that make sense? Probably not, but whatever. So now let's get on to what's in the playbill. If I have anything interesting to share. So like I said, I saw the show in May of 2002, as it is listed right there. Okay, this playbill had some fun stuff in it. Let's see. There was an article in here. Millie, I guess, was on Broadway at this moment. Yeah, it was on Broadway. I don't know if it opened at this point. I didn't read the article again. I apologize. But yeah. So I can't share what exactly is in the article, but an article about Millie and the creative team. Really great creative team for this show. Michael Mayer was the director. Janine, I can never pronounce her last name. Torsori was the composer. The lyricist and book writer was Richard Morrison with Dick Scallon. Yeah, I've seen a few shows that they've worked on since this show. I think there's another page to the article. Oh, no, that's it. Twist. And then at the time, there was a revival of The Elephant Man with Billy Crudup, Kate Burton, and Rupert Graves. I remember when this was on Broadway, and I'm such a huge fan of Billy Crudup. I wanted to see this show, but I never got to see it. But I did eventually see The Elephant Man on Broadway with Bradley Cooper, but eventually I'll talk about that at another point in time. And then here the article continues. Yeah, I just thought this was a really great quote from the article. It says the rapport between Crudup and his audience is what counts most. That's why his heart belongs more to the theater than to film. Which Billy Crudup is just like an amazing stage actor. I did get to see him in The Pillow Man a few years after this point in time, but yeah, he's a great stage actor. I mean, if he's ever in the show, I recommend it because there's certain actors that just like give it their all on the stage, and he's definitely one of them. Let's see, anything else interesting in the playbill? This is what knowing how to edit a video would help, so there's not these pauses, so, whatever. Into the Woods currently had a Broadway revival at this moment in time at the Broadhurst Theater, which I did get to see, and we'll be talking about a few shows from now. Yeah, this was a fun show. I really liked it. And then Tina Madigan is recommending a restaurant along with an actor by the name of Thomas McCarthy, who was in Noises Off at the time. But yeah, Tina Madigan, like you might remember I talked about in Mamma Mia. She was also in The Wedding Singer. Got him. Anytime anyone from that show is in the playbill for something, I will point it out because favorite show ever. Okay, I think that's gonna be it. So the next show I will be talking about, which will be my 21st Broadway show, was the musical right down here, Contact. So yeah, today I talked about my 20th Broadway show, which was A Sweet Smell of Success, which is a show I remember liking but don't remember anything about. It happens. Doesn't mean it was a bad show. Just a lot of time has gone by since I've seen it. But yeah, so that's going to be it for today's video. As always, thank you so very much for once again tuning in. It means so much to me, and I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this theater nerd talk about the shows that she's seen over the years. So until next time, bye.